And it's really hard to do anything in here because I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, nothing tastes good. The cups smell funny.
To the allegation that you tested positive for methamphetamine on April 15th, 2026, in violation of your probation, how do you plead?
That right there in submission. No trial, no fight. In legal terms, this speeds everything up, but also locks her into consequences immediately. The real twist? Now the judge doesn't need to prove anything. She just did it for him.
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
In order to accept that plea, I must have you tell me what it is that makes you guilty. So back 15th was yesterday. Did you test positive for methamphetamine yesterday?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. I had a rough night the day before, and my husband had throughout, though I was on probation, my husband had continued to use, and so that's where I had gotten it from. But as soon as he found out that I was going to have to drug test, and that knowing that I was going to be under the influence, he has removed it all trace of it from our property.
Okay.
There won't be any more of it accessible to me.
Did you know at the time? Did you know at the time that you took it that it was methamphetamine you were taking?
I did.
All right.
I didn't. I chose to risk it.
This is brutally honest, and honestly rare. She's not denying it, not blaming the system. She's admitting she gambled and lost. But here's the legal reality. Intent doesn't reduce the violation, whether it was 1 hit or 10. Probation sees it the same way. A breach is a breach.
Believing that even with the increased drug tests, I would get away with it. I thought that I would not have another drug test before it would be out of my system, or that I didn't do enough for it to be in my system. I thought that just a small amount, like a couple of inhalations, would not make me fail. And it did. Yeah, it was just, I was having a rough night, and I thought that it would help me calm down, and it did momentarily. It did smooth things over. It did help things. But in the end, here I am in jail and facing sentencing, and I am very upset. So I tried to admit responsibility with Melissa because I can't afford further fines. I don't think jail is the place for me. I know the fear of the consequences has to outweigh the fear of living without the drug, and I sort of feel like, I'm not really sure how I feel. I've got to kind of analyze how I feel about that. Like, I'm not sure if I'm numb to both. Like, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. I heard that Melissa suggested an inpatient rehab or something, and I don't think that is the answer either. I've got responsibilities outside of jail that I have to take care of, and I think that working with my plan is outpatient substance abuse at Munson through my doctor's office, where I see a psychiatrist, and going to jail last week threw a whole wrench in the gears for all that, and it's hard not to be upset about that.
Okay.
And so if I'm in jail, I can't move forward with any of that, and I just had time to sit and pray, and I'm scared, but I guess I do need to transfer that fear, or take a look at that fear, and I guess I need to give myself some space to do that, you know, and analyze some of those fears and take a look at those consequences of using the drug test, because, you know, I was in here for domestic violence. So that was the glaring problem, but, you know, like, and it's really hard to do anything in here because I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, nothing tastes good. The drink, the cups smell funny. But okay, I'm sorry. This is not the complaint department.
All right. Counsel, do you believe the defendant has provided a factual basis to accept the plea to the bond violation or probation violation? I'm sorry.
So I can apply this now as a fear of.
Hold on.
Yes, Your Honor, we ask the court accept the plea.
Ms. Lawrence? All right.
And that's the moment the case flips. Once a judge formally finds a violation, the conversation shifts from did it happen to what's the punishment? And here's the catch. Judges get a lot of discretion here. But repeat violations? That patience runs thin fast.
I do find Ms. Trowbridge to be in violation of her probation in that she tested positive for methamphetamine yesterday by her own admission. She took it knowingly, and the court will take notice that she was aware that she wasn't supposed to be using methamphetamine because we were here last week for the same thing. So I do find her to be in violation. That gets us to how we're going to proceed going forward regarding probation. So Ms. Bismack has given us a recommendation. I've had the opportunity to review that. Sounds like Ms. Fervento has as well. Ms. Lawrence, have you had the opportunity also?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Fervento, any elocution?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would start off by saying Ms. Trowbridge has been incredibly honest here today. I think her allocution a moment ago, and I don't think there's much I could add to it to show that she is being upfront and honest with the court with Ms. Bismack. She recognizes that she has a problem and there's a need for recovery. And while there might be some dispute of whether outpatient or inpatient is the right step at this time, step one is recognizing there's a problem, which I think certainly her statements indicate that she recognizes there is that problem. In consideration of that, Your Honor, we would respectfully request no additional jail and treatment at the discretion of the court, what the court thinks is necessary here, and that the court follow the recommendation of Ms. Bismack to continue probation, and if there was jail imposed, to maximize it at 10 days minus credit as recommended by Ms. Bismack. And let's really focus on Ms. Trowbridge wants to nip this in the bud. She wants to get it fixed. And let's focus on getting her those resources. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lawrence?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask the court to follow the recommendation, especially for residential treatment. Quite frankly, the defendant has been on probation barely over a month, and this is now the second positive test. Pretty quick turnaround from the first one to now testing positive again yesterday. So I do think that the 10 days jail is appropriate, as well as residential treatment, and I would ask the court to impose that. Thank you.
Try to avoid jail. We want to go out there with residential treatment or any kind of treatment.
So, Ms. Trowbridge, you do have the right to address the court, and I know you said quite a bit before, but is there anything else you want me to consider before sentencing?
Yes, I would like you to consider that limited resources for recovery and from methamphetamines. I feel like in jail time I'm going to be surrounded by people who are other offenders, and if I am released, I have the opportunity to get out and go to meetings and get around support that I can, make some phone calls and hear from people who are not using, or, rather than be stuck in jail and just, I've got I've got books at home that I can read, and I know there are books here. I've done some reading of the Bible, and I just pray that the Lord has mercy in my situation. I want to go home to my dogs and my books, and I want to get in touch with my doctor, and my doctor can't call me if I'm in jail, and I'm scared. I'm trying, this is really making it harder for me, and I realize that sometimes that's what people need to recover or change, but I just pray that the Lord has mercy on me in my position, because I don't know how to do this, and I feel like I'm by myself. I feel all alone. And I feel like I thought that Melissa Bismack was going to help me, and I thought that she was going to be a tough probation officer. I had Anne Marie Schaefer out of Van Buren County. I don't know if she still works as a probation officer, but she was tough to a point, and she worked really well for me. And I thought that Melissa was going to be someone similar, and now I feel like she is out to hurt me or attack me or hinder me, and I know that that is a clouded, I don't know, but I know that can't be true, but I really feel like I'm in that position, and I would like to request a new probation officer if I could.
I don't have an unlimited supply of probation officers. I have Ms. Bismack and her staff is what I have.
Okay.
And I understand.
Are there other probation officers, or even the violation officer? Does she take on probation?
How Ms. Bismack runs her office is up to her. I'm not going to tell her she's got to switch people out, because one, I don't even know if she has the ability to do that given her staffing.
She has other.
But I think one thing to consider here, and I certainly understand why you have those feelings. I mean, this is the second time you've been back in front of me in a week for the same thing. And when I say I understand why you had those feelings, it's not because I think Ms. Bismack is a bad probation officer. She's an excellent probation officer. And you haven't been on probation long enough to get the full benefit of the probation. I mean, like I said, you were here on the 9th, you were out, you're back here for the exact same thing. That's hardly enough time to even get you set up for services, let alone being able to have you work them.
Right.
Now, you had, if I recall correctly, your last violation is you were at a meeting and had bummed a cigarette off somebody, and it was a laced cigarette. At least that was your belief at the time, correct?
Might have been. I was lying.
Okay.
I was lying.
All right. Well, thank you.
I was lying. I am an addict. I was having a hard time admitting it. And actually, alcohol is one of the hardest things to give up at being socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judge is going to tell you to see what's okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And Ms. Trobers, I know you have a lot going on. I remember that from when you were here on the case, and I remember it from last weekend. And I want you to know that I had a feeling I probably wasn't being told the truth last week when you said you got a laced cigarette, because that's pretty rare that. But we tried it last week and it didn't work, right? So I am
10 days in jail, but with a narrow escape route, treatment. This is a system walking a tightrope between punishment and rehabilitation. The judge is sending a message. Actions have consequences, but still leaving the door open for recovery. The question is, will this be the turning point or just another cycle?
I'm going to keep you in jail. I'm going to impose that 10-day sentence. Now, with that, though, if Ms. Bismack can get you into treatment sooner than that 10 days, I'll allow you to go to residential treatment before you serve your full 10 days.
Okay.
I don't know if she can get you in that quick or not. Sometimes it can go like that, and other times it seems like it just drags on. And I know a lot of our treatment facilities right now are in flood areas, so I don't even know if they're accepting new people at this point. Or if she can get you in before that 10 days, I have no problem releasing you directly to treatment. I'm not going to let you go on your own, but you'd be released directly to treatment, okay?
Okay.